Hi, Celeste Cuffey here of Life Empower Consulting Services, where our mission is to reach, empower, and motivate others to access and utilize their God-given talents and skills, building better families, companies, and communities worldwide. I am so glad that I am with you on today, sharing with you today's Life Empowered moment. I have been graced to be connected to so many amazing people, men and women alike, in all walks of life, doing all types of amazing things. And I just wanted to take today and do something. I wanted to celebrate them. And not only did I want to celebrate them, but I wanted to give you some skills and make sure, reinforce some skills in me that helps me to focus on the positive things in life rather than looking at them negatively. It's so easy to look at what other people are doing and begin to immediately criticize what we are not doing ourselves, what we think we ought to be doing where we are not up to par. That is our own internal struggle that we tend to have because truthfully we are our own worst critic. At least most of us are. And so today I wanted to walk through 3 words, actually 6 words in this session. And again, I'm calling it instead of. Okay. Now these skills or these tools that I'm going to give you, I want you to not only apply it to you, but I want you to apply it to the people that are in your space. And I want you then to watch how the interactions are different and changes as a result of it. Okay. So here it is. Instead of criticizing, what can we do? We can compliment. It is, again, very easy to see where we're wrong at. It's so easy to see where we could have done differently. We should have done differently. It's so easy to poke holes in what we've done. I've heard the saying time and time again that hindsight is 20/20. Well, it might be 20/20, but if you're going to look at what's wrong when you're looking backwards, you should also take a few moments to look at what's right. So again, instead of criticizing, compliment. Great job. Congratulations. I'm so glad that you did this. This is amazing. Keep working on it. Keep going. Those are all things that you can do instead of criticizing. So one more time, instead of criticizing, compliment. The second thing that I want to give you is compare. Now, this one is particularly sensitive to me because what I have found is as human beings, we always are seeking to compare. I have blue shoes. Well, my shoes are black. I have 1 car. Well, I have 5 cars. You have 1 pair of name brand jeans. Well, I have 20 pairs of name brand jeans. And we use these comparisons as a gauge or a measuring stick of how successful we are in life. The problem with that, first of all, is that no one can define success for you other than you. And if your success is predicated on 1 pair of jeans and 1 car, then you're fine. That doesn't make you any less successful than the other person that has 5 or 20 or 500 for that matter. So we have to move away from the comparing. I remember when I worked in the banking industry, there was a gentleman that would come into the bank, and I may have shared this with you before, but he would come into the bank and he had a very tattered coat. And he had fairly tattered shoes as well. And when I would see him coming into the bank, this one particular day it stood out. He was sliding. He wasn't walking normal. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with this particular gentleman that his shoes, that he's walking like this? I didn't even understand until after he got into the bank, performed his transactions, and then left, that I realized is that his shoes were tattered. They were very tattered. So they weren't old, but they were in such a way that he was walking funny to keep his shoes on his feet. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I did just go on vacation, and on my way home, or while I was on vacation, I had a pair of flip-flops, and the flip-flops, the tongue or the centerpiece popped right out. And so I was walking funny because my flip-flops were torn, not because I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money, not because I wasn't successful, not because I had low self-esteem. None of those reasons. It really was just because my shoes were torn. And so I'm using those things as analogies of what you look like. These external things do not define your success. And so do not make comparisons between who you are and what you have up against someone else thinking that that's a good gauge, because it is not. So instead of comparing, cherish. And let me say this twofold. Not only are you going to cherish what you have, but you're going to be grateful that they have what they have as well, because you don't know what they need and you don't know what their situation is, but you don't want to allow what you have or what you don't have. You don't want to take that for granted either. So we want you, I want you, I'm encouraging you to, instead of comparing, to cherish who you are and what you have and celebrate it, right? So instead of, again, criticizing what you have and what you don't have, you're complimenting what you do have and what you bring to the table. And that is the very same thing. Instead of comparing between you and Mrs. Watermelon or Mr. Lemonhead, whoever you've called, whoever you look at and you admire in some sort of way, it isn't an indictment of who you are as an individual. And you have to know that. So instead of comparing, cherish who you are. The last and the third one that I wanted to share with you on today is this. In order to grow, you have to grow. In order to be better, you have to make decisions, and then you have to align your behaviors with your decisions to be better. And so it is so important that you do this, that you cultivate. Okay? So here it is. Do not contaminate, but instead cultivate. So we're playing the instead of game, right? So instead of criticizing, you compliment. Instead of comparing, you cherish. Instead of contaminating, you cultivate. Now, how do you do that? How do you cultivate? How do you build and empower and help? I don't know what the word is. How do you help someone else grow? How do you pour in? How do you cultivate? It's through teaching. It's through training. It's through support. It's through encouragement. It's also through correction. But it's cultivating them as opposed to contaminating. Now, let me tell you what the difference between contaminating and cultivating is. When you think of cultivating, yes, it does include correction. It does mean that if you think of agriculture, when you're cultivating a bed of roses, there are some dead leaves. There are some things that you have to do with the dirt. You have to massage down. You have to clean it up. You have to add things. You have to kill the weeds and clean out the space. So there definitely is some pruning that has to go along with cultivating. But when you are contaminating, you are just dropping poison and you're going on. And what I am encouraging you to do with your words, with your actions, with your deeds, that you are not contaminating. You have been put here to build, not to tear down. So, again, instead of contaminating, cultivate. So, now you know how the game goes. Simply called the instead of. And this is what you do. Here are some strategies. And so when there's something going on and your first inclination is to criticize it, stop. Pay attention to that and say, instead of, I'd like to say that little Johnny did a great job at the program, or little Sarah did the best that she could. I'm looking forward to a little bit more training and development in her. Instead of criticizing, instead of comparing, cherishing, I appreciate you, my sisters and my brothers. You make me look good through your efforts. You make me look good through your behaviors. There is not a comparison. I'm not comparing. As a matter of fact, I am leveraging you as motivation and as encouragement and as a little bit more support to help me get to where I want to go and go. But understand that this is not a comparison, because where you want to go and where I want to go may not be the same. As a matter of fact, I can pretty much guarantee you that it's not the same. And so I am leveraging you. And because of that, there is, and this is an extra word, it's not even in here, there is no competition. I am not competing with you. I am complimenting you, and you are doing the same for me. But we have to get the mindset that we are not in competition with each other. We complete each other. We complement each other, but we are not in competition. So instead of competing, compliment. Instead of criticizing, compliment. Instead of comparing, cherish. And instead of contaminating, cultivate. So take these strategies, take these skills, and begin to, I encourage you, what is your life empowered moment, is to begin to implement these strategies daily so that you can build rather than tear down. I want to leave you with this one last thing. A leader multiplies. And that's why cultivating is so important. A leader multiplies. And so, who are you? How are you multiplying? What are you multiplying? Or are you contaminating? So it's important that you know that you are cultivating, you are cherishing, you are complimenting. And as you are going throughout your day, be intentional about doing those things. And I guarantee you will see a difference in you, in your mindset, and not only that, but in the people that are around you. So I just wanted to take a few moments to share that with you on today. I thank you for spending this time with me. This is Celeste Cuffey with your 15 minutes of living life empowered. Also, please do not forget to go to my website, www.celestecuffey.com, for more videos, more training, more information about some of the things or services that Life Empowered offers. Thank you so much again, and remember, live life empowered. Take care. Goodbye.